My name is Alice Jean McCarthy, and I am 88 years old. When you reach this age, mirrors matter less, but memories matter more. And there was once a young man who made me feel like the most beautiful woman in the world, even when I didn't believe it myself. It was 1984. I was 37, managing this small flower shop in Portland. My days were filled with the scent of roses, lilies, and damp soil. Comforting, predictable, safe. I had moved back home after my mother fell ill. My siblings were gone, living lives of their own. I stayed because someone had to. One rainy afternoon, while trimming stems behind the counter, the bell above the door chimed softly. A man stepped inside, rain on his coat, camera around his neck, hair slightly messy from the wind. He shook his coat and laughed. "Portland never forgets to remind me it rains." I smiled politely. Then he lifted his camera. "May I?" he asked. "Take a picture? Of me?" "No," he smiled, "of how the light is hitting those sunflowers behind you. But you're welcome to be in the frame if you want." I felt my cheeks warm. He clicked the shutter, a soft, satisfying sound that somehow made my heart flutter. He stepped closer, offering his hand. "I'm Matthew Hale, photographer, traveler, occasional mess." I laughed. "I'm Alice, not a traveler, not a photographer, just here." "Being here can be beautiful too," he said gently. He stayed in the shop longer than any customer needed to. We talked about flowers and lighting, about places he had visited, and about my life, though I shared little. But he listened like every word mattered. As he left, he said, "I'll bring the picture tomorrow if you'd like to see it." I nodded, half expecting he wouldn't return, but he did. The next day, he came in holding a small print. "This is yours," he said. I stared at the photograph. It wasn't the sunflowers he captured. It was my reflection in the shop window behind them. The light caught my face softly, gently, like I was glowing. I didn't recognize myself. "You made me look beautiful," I whispered. He shook his head. "I didn't make you look that way. You already looked that way. I just noticed." My breath caught. No one had looked at me like that in a long, long time. Matthew began visiting often, sometimes daily. I pretended not to wait for him, but I always heard the bell before it rang. He asked questions no one had ever asked me. "What were your dreams before responsibility found you? When was the last time someone saw you fully? What would you do if the world couldn't disappoint you?" I didn't know how to answer most of them, but he made me want to. One evening, after I closed the shop, he waited outside. "I want to show you something," he said. We walked through wet Portland streets until we reached an old brick building. He led me up the stairs to a room filled with photos, sunsets, strangers, children laughing, women staring into the distance, and then a wall covered entirely with pictures of flowers. Not just flowers, my flowers, from my shop, taken secretly, beautifully, reverently. You see beauty every day, but you forget that you're a part of it. I turned to him, my eyes stinging. "Why are you showing me this?" "Because," he stepped closer, "I want to show you yourself the way I see you." He kissed me that night, soft, slow, patient, like he had all the time in the world. But he didn't, and neither did we. 2 weeks later, Matthew told me he had been offered an assignment overseas, a once-in-a-lifetime photography opportunity, his dream. "I leave in a month," he said quietly. My heart ached. "Will you come back?" I asked. He hesitated. "I want to," he whispered, "more than you know. But this job, it's long. Countries, months, years maybe." My throat tightened. "Then stay," I said, voice cracking. He cupped my face gently. "Alice, if I stay, I'll resent the dream I gave up. And you deserve a man whole, not a man broken by regret." Tears spilled down my cheeks. "But I can't go with you. My mother, she needs me. I can't leave." He nodded, pain visible in his eyes. "I know. That's why this hurts." For the next few weeks, we loved each other quietly, intensely, knowing every moment was one moment closer to goodbye. On his last day, he brought me a small wooden box. Inside were the photographs he'd taken of me, the ones where he said I looked like I belonged to the light. "I want you to remember," he whispered, "that someone in this world saw you something breathtaking. I'll forget everything else, but not you." His kiss lingered like a memory that refused to die, and then he was gone. For years he sent postcards: Istanbul, Cairo, Lisbon, Tokyo, cities I only saw through his words. Then the postcards stopped. Life continued. My mother passed. I inherited the shop. I built a simple, quiet life. But his pictures stayed on my dresser. Even now at 88, I sometimes hold them up to the light and feel 20 again. If I could speak to the younger woman behind the flower counter, the one who didn't know she deserved to be seen, I would tell her, "He didn't stay, but he showed you yourself." Some loves don't last forever, but they last long enough to change everything. That is my story, the story of the photographer who taught me how beautiful I looked to someone else.